Good morning, everyone. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options with your morning market preparation video for December 21st, 2017. Well, hey, only a couple of days left of trading before we head into the long holiday weekend. And the market is showing just a little bit of pause. In fact, probably a little more confusion than really bearishness. We gapped up yesterday substantially, and then here I'll show you on a 15-minute, we gapped up substantially and then quickly sold off and then just spent the rest of the day chopping. So a big whipsaw and then pretty much nothing. And so there's a little bit of confusion, but there's also reason for caution here. We don't have anything that's terribly bearish. We're still in a trend. In fact, this is easily just looking like a consolidation in the trend. Nothing here that would suggest that we're just ready to collapse, but there's also no reason to be overly confident the way the market is looking here, at least in the Dow. Now, this morning we're showing a little bit of a gap up. Futures are just slightly positive, and that could change substantially today because we have some big reports coming out this morning. Here we piled in the GDP, jobless claims, and the Philly Fed outlook, all at 8:30 this morning. And you can see there's a slew of other reports, none of them likely market moving. And that follows, what a big day, just 2 days before, a long weekend. But they really jam-packed this calendar full today. It ends at 4:30 this afternoon with money supply. But these are the ones we have to worry about. These are the ones that could move the market substantially, so we'll have to pay attention to it. Now, GDP is not expected to do much. In fact, it's expected to stay pretty flat. Claims are expected to decline just a tiny little bit, maybe 1,000. And the Philly Fed outlook is expected to kind of pull back just a little tiny bit, but it's actually something that the market I think is kind of looking forward to because it got a little bit hot. Well, not more than just a little bit hot. A couple of reports ago, it was at a 48-year high, and is now just starting to slightly settle back, but it's still an extremely strong number. On the earnings calendar today, we have just over 20 companies reporting today, and there are some reports that do have the potential of moving the market around. Before the market, we have like PAYX, Paycheck. It's going to report this morning. That's kind of a big one that folks follow, and CarMax is one that could easily move us around. It looks like they've reported, and they reported poorly. We'll see how that reacts after they go through the conference call and things. But right now, a few of those things. And then we also have Conagra reporting this morning. It looks like, wow, Conagra has reported extremely well. Going to clear up here someplace. A very strong report there in Conagra. Then after the market closes today, we have a couple of big ones. Cintas reports. Cintas is in a beautiful pattern here and could easily really move. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Beautiful pattern, beautiful trend, and looking very strong. So kind of keep an eye on Cintas. And then also Nike, which has had a really nice rally here recently, bouncing up above some resistance levels, giving us a nice little pullback. So Nike is really set up for a move, and we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But all of those reports do have the potential of moving the market around a little bit, so kind of keep that in mind as you plan forward. And it may be just the kind of thing we need maybe it will provide just the fuel we need to actually move that market up enough or get the bulls inspired enough to maybe attack that 25,000 level. I'm not trying to predict that in any way, but that 25,000 up there is just looming up there very, very close. And it's almost as if the bulls are needing some kind of excuse to make a run for it. And that could be. And perhaps this little pullback or this little move is actually setting up a short squeeze. The more people that try to predict this is the bearish move that's going to, really correct this market lower, they could easily get run over being short. Last thing you want to do is short a trend. And clearly we are still trending. And they could easily get stomped hard if we get some kind of a bullish engagement here, and they will force those short traders to cover and actually pushing the market higher if that occurs. Kind of the same thing that happened here when everyone was just absolutely sure that this was the blow off top. So keep that in mind as you plan forward. Like I say, a little bit more confusion than there is anything else. The SPY doing virtually the same thing, just kind of pulling back slightly, consolidating within the trend. The Qs saw a little bit of selling yesterday that got just a little bit concerning. But, they picked up here as the day went on yesterday. Nothing bad here. In fact, this trend line is a little bit, how do you draw that perfectly? Maybe that's it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, the Q's still holding above recent highs and looking really, really strong. Holding on to that trend as of now. And the IWM also really not seeing any selling going on here. And this has been, one of the weakest indexes of all year. And, there's not really any selling here yet. So no reason to just be overly bearish or predicting that the market's going to fall. Hey, folks, let's keep in mind that as we move toward this holiday season, we're going to see declining volumes. Volumes are going to naturally dry up, kind of like yesterday. We had a really quick move in the morning, and then the volume just died on the vine, and we chopped the rest of the day. That is likely to occur now through the holiday until we come back. We're likely to see volumes continuing to decline. A mistake that I made a lot when I was coming up as a trader is thinking that just because I was sitting in front of my computer, I needed to trade. And I can tell you I've got a lot of battle scars, a lot of very painful reminders that that's not true. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes it's better to stand aside. And consider that when you're thinking about trading right now. We should all have really amazing profits this year. And there's just no sense in risking giving them back this close to the year end, trading a kind of a dead market at the moment. So consider that and plan your trades. If you do decide to trade, plan them very carefully on how you're going to manage that and be willing to set through a very, very choppy market. You can buy that trade and it just goes nowhere. So be prepared for that if you do decide to trade. Hey, folks, let's take a real quick look at the VIX. And the VIX, we dipped yesterday on that market pop. Came real close to setting record lows here in the VIX, and then we rallied back up as the market sold off. But notice the VIX really isn't moving. There's no fear here in the market that would suggest we're ready to just fall off a cliff. There is enough reason to be cautious, though. So keep an eye on that and just understand that anything can happen, particularly over a holiday season. Anything can happen. Lots of things still coming. Remember, Congress still has to vote before Saturday on either a continuing resolution or getting the budget passed so that they can keep the government open after midnight on Saturday. So there's still a lot of things that could happen in there. You know, if the Congress doesn't get their job done and they close down the government over the weekend, just imagine what Monday was, you know, or I mean, when we come back after Christmas, what could happen there. So lots of things that could happen. So just be careful and be a little bit cautious. For me personally, I almost think it's foolish to trade a market that's just going to be lacking volume. So for me, I'll be looking more to take profits and to preserve capital than I will be taking on additional risk as we head in through these holidays. With that, everyone, hey, I want to thank everyone for supporting these videos this year. Just started this year, and I just really want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. And if this is the first time you've seen it, click that subscribe button on YouTube, the follow me button on Facebook. Click those thumbs up, and please always feel free to drop a comment and share this with anyone that might find it useful. Hey, if you're traveling, everyone, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Be safe. Enjoy those friends and family. That's the most important thing. And we'll talk to you all very, very soon, bright and early tomorrow morning. Take care now.